Hey, welcome to our impact call. This is the impact call for the Giving Tree. And if you are a part of the Giving Tree or if you're new to the Giving Tree, you're going to be excited to see some of the things that we have been up to over the last week or even just a couple of weeks. So I love this visual. It just is a very stark comparison of one to the other. And what you're doing as being a part of the Giving Tree is impacting many, many people, just like water is impacting this desert picture. The reason the Giving Tree works is because of a company called doTERRA. And doTERRA is a 15-year-old, $2 billion a year debt-free company, essential oil. We're the largest essential oil company in the world, and we provide the purest and finest essential oils in the world. And many of them are very, very exclusive products. But we're not really here to talk about oils. We will talk about them a little bit simply because this is the engine that runs the Giving Tree. And I wanted to give you the first off here just a little bit. I'm hoping this is a video, but I think it might not be. Oh, it is. Yay. A little bit of information about the Healing Hands Foundation specifically, because this is a major piece of how our Giving Tree works. So I'll just go ahead and let that play.
The doTERRA Healing Hands Foundation brings healing and hope to the world through providing global communities with the tools they need to become self-reliant. By participating in projects that address the needs of microcredit lending, access to health care, education, sanitation, clean water, and fighting child sex trafficking, individuals are empowered and lives are changed. doTERRA International provides all the overhead and administrative costs of the foundation, thereby ensuring that 100% of all donations go directly to the people in need. That's been the mission and the vision of the foundation from the very beginning, even when doTERRA International didn't have very much, even when its founders weren't drawing a paycheck. But the desire, the objective was to establish a pattern of giving right from the very beginning. In fact, one might say that as much as we love the essential oils, as much as that brings hope and empowerment to people that use and share the oils, the culture really begins with this desire to give, to help, to liberate, and to empower others through the foundation. One of the primary differences between doTERRA and its humanitarian foundation and so many others is the difference that you see in the lives of the people. They come to doTERRA looking for their why, their reason to participate in something, to give back, and they find it in the Healing Hands Foundation.
So that just gives you a little bit of oh my goodness, how do I get out of here? Sorry, my technical skills are apparently lacking. So let me stop the share and start again. That gives you a little picture of what it is that we're about as a company. And I want to get into a little bit more about what we've been doing from the Giving Tree perspective. So if you are new to the Giving Tree, or if you're not sure what the Giving Tree is, then you'll want to stick around or connect with the person who invited you today to be able to talk a little bit more about that. But the next thing that I want to show you, if I can find my share screen again, there we go. Oh goodness. There we go. Is what, basically the foundation of how this works for the Giving Tree. So I'm still not there, but there we go. All right. Hopefully you're seeing the full screen now. The reason that this works, again, is because of doTERRA and their Healing Hands Foundation. And the initiatives that the Healing Hands Foundation have are working for hope, working specifically against human trafficking, working for clean water and sanitation, empowering women, helping with disaster relief, focusing on global health, self-reliance, and supporting children. And the one thing that they have that is actually a product that doTERRA sells and then donates immediately to the Healing Hands Foundation is the 72-hour emergency hygiene kit. And inside of this kit are a little bit of, just little pouches of shampoo and conditioner, some hand sanitizing wipes, some Deep Blue Rub, which if you haven't tried that is wonderful for muscle and joint pain. Some toothpaste also has the On Guard, which is good for immunity and killing germs. There's some bandages. There's a Tea Tree Touch, and that's in a roller, a 10 mil roller that you can use for. It's good for any type of infection. It's good for cold sores, cuts, sores, abrasions. It's even good for earaches. Also antifungal. So it's really a helpful one in a time of an emergency or a disaster situation. And then a toothbrush and a towel to help, keep yourself clean during this very, very challenging time. And so these kits are available for purchase from doTERRA. And when you purchase a kit or a number of kits, as we have shown you in the Giving Tree to do 6 in a month, then they are immediately donated to the Healing Hands Foundation and they're distributed by doTERRA. So you actually don't have to do anything with them if you are a US resident. If you live in other countries, there's some other ways that we're working with the Giving Tree. But people love this concept and this idea. And so we're working with a lot of different people. But anyway, this is kind of what has happened in the last week. We actually were able to get a donation of 25 kits that are going to be distributed in Canada this week with our Canadian team. And they have local donations because they cannot purchase the hygiene kit in Canada. The local donations actually will make another 11 kits. I put 12 for some reason, but it's actually 11. So they'll have 36 kits that are going to be able to be donated. This Saturday, they're having an event putting that together, and then they'll be donating those to a local soup kitchen where there's some need in that way. Now, because they can't purchase the hygiene kits, what they do instead is purchase a few of those products. So they get the tea tree, they get a hand sanitizer, and I think a little bit of deodorant. It's actually a full-size deodorant, and they're putting together another 11 kits to be able to distribute those. And so we're really excited about this because this is actually the first event that Canada is doing and that the people specifically on the Giving Tree are putting together and doing this. And we were really thrilled to be able to get that donation of an additional 25 kits to be handed out and start doing some really powerful good in that area. Next up, we want to talk a little bit about Families Mentoring Families. And we are so lucky to still have Becky Rogers in town. She's the founder of Families Mentoring Families and has been living and working in Ghana for the past, what has it been now? 7 years, 8 years, something like that with her family, and have just done amazing, amazing things. Go ahead, Becky.
Yeah, we're just coming up on 7, which blows my mind that it's been that long, but even more mind-blowing is what has actually come to pass over those 7 years. It is truly miraculous, and we are in awe to be able to be part of it and to watch it. So Families Mentoring Families, when we first moved over to Ghana, we had no idea what we were supposed to do there or why we had that impression that we should just get rid of everything and move to Ghana. Like who does that with our kids? And for the about the first 18 months we were there, we really didn't have any idea what we were supposed to be working on. We were just trying to figure out how to find mozzarella cheese and foods that we like to eat, and which is harder than it looked. And we weren't used to like having bars on all of our windows and around our compound, and we were there with our kids, so that added a different dynamic. But it didn't take us long to realize the situation in our community, where even in our church congregation, 30 to 40% of the women didn't read at all. And so you can imagine how much that limits their abilities to progress in their profession. It really limits what they can actually do as a profession when they are not able to read and they're not able to speak English and all those kinds of things. And so we started with just some literacy projects, and started teaching people how to read, even just in their living room under the tree in front of the place where they live. And so to go from that to what is happening and to see the changes that come into people's lives is really amazing. This morning I was thinking about a message that I got from a woman. We actually did some videos of some ladies being able to tell their story, and then the look on her face and how proud she was that she said, and she could read her own messages. She didn't have to go find someone to read messages on her phone or things that she needed help with. Like, she could read that for herself, and she was so proud that she could now help her children with their homework. Her grandchildren, it was actually her grandchildren that she could help with their homework, and she was just giddy with excitement because it changed everything for her. And so to go from to see that shift in people's lives and how profound it is, it changes how they feel about themselves and how they value themselves at their most core central part of their heart. Like it's so profound to see the change that comes into people's lives when they are when they get educated. They feel different about themselves. To go from that to now we are also providing aftercare for survivors of trafficking, and to see how much of a need there is with that. And we have girls. We've actually had quite a lot of girls, and last year we did some interviews with some of them, and I was thinking of one girl in particular, and people were asking, well, what is it that they get when they come to you? And I was thinking, they get skills, they learn how to do things, they get some training so they can provide for themselves. And then I thought, no, I should just ask these girls directly what they have received by coming through the Families Mentoring Families Aftercare program. And I'm so glad I did, because one of the girls, immediately when I said, what do you think that, what have been the biggest benefits to you of coming through this program? And she said, hope. Immediately, that was the thing that came to her mind. She said, hope. We didn't have any hope. We were trying to figure out how we could end our lives, because we didn't have any hope that there would be anything better. And so many of them, when they come to us sick. And so, of course, it makes it harder to cope and harder to think when you're not feeling well. And, I think that particular woman, when she came to us, she couldn't keep down water. And the rescue team that brought her, that sent her to us, thought that they were afraid she was going to die. And then she said, the second thing is love. She said, this is the first place we've ever felt loved. Ever. And I can't even imagine, that place and not having anyone or anything or any, hope or support, or just, they come back from being trafficked and they find out they're in worse place than when they went out. And the reason they went out was because of the direness of their situations. And so so it's just it's overwhelming, it's humbling. It's something we cannot do alone, and it just seems to be getting bigger and bigger, as right now we have a whole group of more than 50 and possibly as many as 300 Ghanaian girls that have been trafficked to Jordan that are in hiding over there, that we're working on getting home as quickly as possible, which requires we have to get them new paperwork, travel documents, because their passports were seized when they arrived, when they were trafficked. So it's a process. And then, of course, we will be following up with them and making sure that they receive the help or the care that they need when they return back home. So all of that, we're so grateful for this partnership with the doTERRA and with the Giving Tree specifically, because it allows us to bless many more people and help give them the education that they need to really see their potential.
Mm-hmm.
And find their purpose and their passion in life, which is what they're doing when they're realizing all of this crappy stuff has happened to them in their life. What is it for? Like, why? And they're starting to do their mental mastery around it. They're starting their recovery process, and they can see the need for them to share their stories with other people and other women specifically. It's just a powerful project. So we're just grateful to be part of all of this, and we're grateful for your giving hearts and your beautiful souls that want to make a difference. And we want you to know that you do make a difference.
Thank you so much for that, Becky. And I love too that, as we've talked in the past about your aftercare program and specifically the type of education, which you just alluded to, it's not only literacy, it's also the thinking skills that people need to be able to change their circumstance and change their lives. And it's just so powerful what you do, and the life story transformation principles that you implement into that training that you do with those girls, and helping them to just significantly change. And the other thing that I've been so impressed with is, like, you guys are staffed with locals who also are learning these wonderful principles. Many times people get the idea that it's a skin color thing, right? If you have white skin, then you're privileged and you have lots of money. And if you have black skin, then you don't have anything. And the best you can hope for is getting money from the white people. And that shift in mindset of helping them to see, the principles of freedom, or the principles of prosperity, are very different than sometimes they are led to believe in different countries and different places. And we see this here in our Western world countries as well, because different people experiencing different things, not necessarily as much on a race level, but just like the ideas that sometimes people have are just not, not very helpful. So I love your life story program. I know it changed my life significantly, just going through that several years ago myself. So thank you for that.
Super powerful. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. The next thing I want to pop into is just this last week, we had Thanksgiving in the United States, and we do a pie fundraiser at my house just because we're crazy like that. So I wanted to just report on that a little bit. This fundraiser actually is benefiting families, mentoring families, and in helping with some travel support. So let me share it again. You can see some of these pies that we made, and we actually made 110 pies. So this is Mont rolling them out. That's my son, who usually talks about the oils, and he couldn't join us today. And then, of course, Brian, some of you, many of you, and those of you who are catching the recording, hopefully you know these. And here's just a sampling of pies. You can see the little boxes here. These are all full, and then these ones are cooling, as we were very, very busy making deliciousness for Thanksgiving. But 110 pies. We raised $1,100 during our pie fundraiser this year. And with that, we had 150% match. So that's going to turn into like a $2,600 donation, or somewhere in the area, $2,700 donation, which is going to be absolutely wonderful. So for those of you who got to have some of those pies, you can see they are homemade and super, super tasty. Well, you can't see that they taste good, but believe me, they do. But we're so grateful. We're so grateful to those of you who purchased and helped to support us in that fundraiser. All right, Brian is traveling today and is not able to be with us to give us an update on what is happening with Doctor's Choice, but this is the food that his warehouse in Uganda produces. And this is they call it a ready to use therapeutic food, or an RUTF. And this food actually will bring a starving child back from really from the brink of death. And he shared a story with me about actually one of their boys that they adopted was a little boy who at 3 years old was still the size of an infant. And the social worker who brought him to them brought him because he was not being cared for in the village. And she knew that if she waited another week, that that little boy was going to die. So she took him to the Holmes family because they knew she knew they had access to this food and that they could save his life. And so that's exactly what they did. And they were able to bring him back from the brink of death. And I met him. He is 9 years old now. And some of you may know him if you're familiar with Brian's family, but it is just an amazing thing. And that's just one child. And there are many, many children who are being impacted by this food and by the ability for us to get that out there. So as part of the Giving Tree, when you donate your initial kits to doTERRA, what it does is, because of the structure of the way the compensation plan works through doTERRA, it creates additional money and makes it so that your giving can be sustainable. And what we ask you to do, or invite you to do, is to take a few of those dollars, maybe a small percentage of the dollars that you're earning from your Giving Tree, and then turn around, donate that to Families Mentoring Families, where we will split it between the literacy programs and the Doctor's Choice, the food that is available to share with the people that are needing it so much at this time. All right, on to co-impact sourcing. And this is an important piece of what we do, because remember, doTERRA is the engine of this Giving Tree. And with that, it's good to know a little bit about the sourcing of essential oils, mostly from the standpoint of how does it impact our growers and our distillers and different people like that. So we have a little short video here that's going to share with you a little bit about co-impact sourcing and why it matters. And then we'll tell you specifically about the free product of the month that you're going to be getting in, that you should have gotten in November with your order. So we'll go ahead and bring that on next.
Essential oils are everywhere. You see them for sale online, in social media, on Amazon, even the grocery store shelf. But you have to ask yourself, was it ethically and sustainably sourced, and are they pure and free of adulterations? With the increased popularity of essential oils, too many companies, big and small, are in the dark as to where their oils are coming from. Some even intentionally take advantage of farmers and distillers while cutting corners and padding profits. They advertise their products as 100% pure when they truly have no visibility into who is producing the oils or how it's being done. They did, however, wrap it in a pretty label and bought some Google ad space. It's easy for a consumer to get lost in this growing marketplace. Since 2008, doTERRA has sold more than 187 million bottles of essential oils to nearly 9.8 million customers worldwide. They trust doTERRA because we only source the very best essential oils in the world. Since many plants grown for essential oils thrive in developing countries, doTERRA is committed to making sure the lives of each farmer, harvester, and distiller are better because of our partnership. We call this co-impact sourcing. Positive impact for everyone along the entire supply chain, and the purest essential oils for you. Our co-impact sourcing commitment is to 1, be directly involved at the source. Through this, we know the people and processes involved. 2, ensuring positive social impact, including job creation, fair labor conditions, and even community development projects. And 3, environmental stewardship and sustainability. You get the highest quality and most effective essential oils, along with the knowledge that your purchase protects growers and distillers from being cheated by middlemen and large corporations. When you purchase a doTERRA essential oil, you can be a conscious consumer and know you are getting oils that are not only traceable, but are proven and tested to work for you and those you care about. To learn more about co-impact sourcing and our sourcing guiding principles, and to hear the stories from farmers and distillers across the globe, visit sourcetoyou.com. doTERRA, pursue what's pure.
So this is something that is so important to to doTERRA in the work that they do? Well, let's see. I can't find anything now. This is just so crazy. And it's like this every week. I'm supposed to act more graceful. I remember somebody telling me that. All right, here we go. This is such an important piece for doTERRA. It just really, really matters to them to be in a position where they are sourcing the best and helping the most. And it's not the most inexpensive way that they could be doing it, but it is the right thing to do because it does support those small scale farmers. So I'm going to talk to you just briefly about Copaiba. Copaiba is the oil of the month in Canada. So you'll be getting this one if you live in Canada, or you should have already received it, or it's on its way. And I wanted to tell you a little bit about it. Our total impact of lives impacted in 2022 was 2,195. So there are 347 people who have the sourcing jobs that are there, but the lives that are supported by that, which include their families, is over 1,145. And then there's also, they do a lot of social projects, including some dental projects and different things like that. Because one of the things that we do is when doTERRA goes into an area to source an oil, they try to they will assess what the needs are. And what they found in this region of Brazil is that it's a very rural region and it's very poor. And the reason it's so poor is because of the lack of interest in these small scale farmers. And so this makes a big difference for them. But one of the issues that they found right away was definitely oral care. And so in 2019, they did a lot of work. And then the next year they went back and did some more oral care support, helping, pulling rotted teeth and helping them to just get the things that they need to be able to take better care of their mouths and their oral health, which is just so important. So you can see all of the good that has been done there. And the primary benefits of Copaiba, it supports your cardiovascular, immune, and digestive system health when it's taken internally, provides powerful antioxidant properties when used internally. It helps calm, soothe, and support the nervous system when you take it internally, and also promotes clear, smooth skin and reduces the appearance of blemishes. So you can actually use it topically as well. So this is one of the favorites. And I also recently found if you want more information about how to use essential oils for your health, we do have a call. It's a Zoom call on Thursday nights. It's called our Wellness Workshop. And there's a lot of really great information where they go a lot deeper into that. But there was a video also, if you want it, just reach out to me and ask me for it, of Dr. Hill talking about Copaiba and how it compares with CBD oil specifically. So that is everything we have for you today on our Impact Call. So thank you so much for sharing with us and being here with us. And we hope that you have a great week. I'll stop the recording.